everyone, to season 4, episode 2 of the Hall of Fame show. And I'm your host, Kirk Buchner, and my co-host, Evan Nolan. We co-own, we operate, we do all sorts of things behind the scenes, and sometimes pay other people to do it behind the scenes because we don't know what we're doing, especially me. Of NotInHallOfFame.com, the fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame. We're going to have some announcement about that coming soon. The fictitious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and of course, our favorite project, the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. Vote on that now because it's all up to you. www.NotInHallOfFame.com/USA, and you can vote in the first class. So I think I did. I wanted to sort of like set up something because it was Evan's birthday, and thank you, Ron Katz, for stepping in last week. But happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Evan. Happy birthday to you.
Fantastic, my friend. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I'm a double penny short of the double nickel, right? Is that how that works?
I didn't even know that. That's how that worked at all. So I
double nickel would be 55, a double penny would be 11, so 55 minus 11. There's too much math.
I just know I'm a lot older than you.
You always will.
Just
by the way, for those of you wondering, I've had this light for podcasting for a long time. I embarrassingly couldn't open it. I figured out what the problem was. So now I have a better light because I always think the light sucks. But now I'm not sure how my audio is going to be. So we're going to try it with the light and see how that goes. And we'll figure out the audio later.
Give me the light and I got to know. Music. Yeah, I've got the music flowing in me.
Yes. So anyway, no, Boston was great for my birthday. And happy to be back here and happy that I wasn't flying. I flew Southwest and made it, and the planes weren't grounded and everything was going pretty well. So. But anyway, we have stuff to talk about. We have College Football Hall of Fame class.
Yeah. College Football Hall of Fame, which is one I like, but not as much as I should. And I think that's their fault. Let's just be blunt. You and I have talked about that before. It's not promoted the best.
And as I said, I went to the old one when it was in South Bend. And it was just kind of a weird rundown sort of place. It was one of those things that seemed like it was really state of the art 15 years before you'd been there,
right?
And then nothing had been touched. So I haven't been to the Atlanta one yet, but anyway.
But they have their big announcement, and we're going to go through the players that did get in, and I'm not going to go in alphabetical order because I want to start off with somebody first, if you don't mind, because I want to go with Reggie Bush first, and this is going to tie in with something that's going to be not because he's a Saint, but because I find him the most interesting name. Now, personally, I think he's more than deserving. I'm putting in that he's the Heisman winner, although he's not. And I got my air quotes.
I'm surprised you're even allowed to vote on him. As far as I know, he didn't play college football.
Yeah, or USC didn't win that title. But
yeah,
we all know that in college football, and you've done a great job in your good, bad, and ugly segments. Pretty much saying why the NCAA is corrupt. And I think the voters sort of say they really didn't give a crap that Reggie Bush took improper benefits because him and who else?
Yeah. I mean, as a Massachusetts sports fan, I'm sorry. UMass still went to the Final Four in 1996. I don't care that Marcus Camby was given a necklace. That's why that was why that was validated. Someone gave him a necklace. We had a bunch of
but I think it sort of reflects the different voting body. I've speculated, and I don't know for sure because I don't know who's on the basketball voting committee. None of us do. I suspect some of the people who actually get votes don't even know who anybody else is.
True.
I'm only half joking because I did speak with someone on the Rock Hall who did not know who else was on that.
The Rock Hall, nobody has any idea.
No. I would love to see what Johnny Rotten's votes have been, though, because he gets a vote. I would love to see if he sort of like took an actual piss on it. But anyway, the basketball hall, I brought up them because I think that's why they made Chris Webber wait. I truly believe that. But here we have Reggie Bush. I think he did have a better college career than C. Webb did. But they don't care. Reggie Bush is in, should be in. One of the best running backs, one of the most exciting college running backs I ever saw. And I think what I'm really excited here is
Also one of the most exciting running backs Mike Dick ever saw. So
you're thinking of Reggie Williams.
oh shit. Man, I need to drink more or less. You're right. That's Ricky Williams. You
That's
said
that's the third time in 2 weeks I've had to do this.
Oh my God, man.
When,
sorry about
I
that.
believe the hunter has become the hunted.
Oh yeah, it's totally Ricky Williams. I apologize.
I said Reggie Williams, so there you go. I screwed up too.
Yeah, I apologize to everybody about everything all the time. So anyway, it's because I'm a Nimrod, or at least a Nimrod supporter today.
There you go. But it is all husbands do. Of course, we apologize. So Reggie Bush is in. I think that's very, very important. And it sort of talks about a voting body. And when I get to my elevator down, you'll see why I'm using the same sort of thing. I'm foreshadowing.
Very nice.
Yeah, because in season 4, I know how to foreshadow.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah. So he wasn't the only Heisman winner who got in, though.
No. So like from here on, I just want to go alphabetically, if that's okay. Or do you want to go to that
Heisman winner first, just because I want to talk about him for a second?
All right. I will say what I just said about Bush. Use that for quarterback in college. Tim Tebow was money to watch.
Yeah, I mean, one of the worst tight ends in NFL history, but
one of the worst quarterbacks in NFL history too.
Hey, he won a playoff game. It's more than you can say for a bunch.
That when Glenn comes back from Antarctica, Glenn, if you're listening to this, that is going to be a game we'll do. How Tim Tebow won a playoff game. That would be fantastic. I was on a YouTube rabbit hole while I was doing some work, and it was just all this one site talking about these quarterbacks stunk. So it was him, Leaf, Manziel,
Scott Frazier, was that?
No, well, I might have got to him eventually, but the other one was Jamarcus Russell. Those are the 4 that stick out right now. But Tim Tebow is one of the most polarizing players. I have mad respect for him as a person.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Not because I share views with that he has. I don't at all, frankly. But seems like a great guy. He sticks to what he believes in. He's not going to cause you any controversy, except for maybe people believe in him too much because he's just that likable. And that's why he also got chance after chance after chance. Also, too, because a shit ton of people were going to buy a Tebow jersey.
Also true. Yeah.
Because they wanted to believe in him. I get why you wanted to believe in Tim Tebow. I'm, again, not a Catholic Christian. I don't know the difference. I'm sorry.
He's not Catholic, though.
Okay, I don't know. Like, I know I'm offending some religious people right now. I'm not religious.
Oh, no, I understand. I understand. There's the people who follow the religion the way Tim Tebow do are the same people who don't think that Catholics are Christians. So
that goes over my now airplane-like head.
Yeah, it's very airplane-like. It's very nice. The jets got to your hair as well there. You got your head checked by a jumbo jet. No, but yeah, I don't think there's any argument that Tebow deserves to be here either.
So, yeah, and so congratulations to them both. I don't know who they're going to have headline that. I would imagine Tebow.
You would think, although it's interesting because the third person on here is Dwight Freeney, who's up for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's possible he could get into both the same year.
I
don't think it's likely, but I think it's possible.
I meant to look up who's ever accomplished that, and I didn't because I should have done it.
It's a good question. So
somebody must have.
Yeah, somebody had to have. But yeah, Freeney's here. Boston College person, Luke Keachley. No argument there. Another former Patriot, Michael Bishop, former Patriot great.
Cup winner with the Argonauts. I remember that.
Yeah, he was going to be the next big thing. When Bledsoe was done, Michael Bishop was going to take over. That didn't work. And then LaMichael James of Oregon was another name I thought was pretty good. But do you want to go through the rest? I'm sorry, I'm going out.
Yeah, no, all good. Well, yeah, because we really have to worry about our structure.
Yes.
Well, Ted brings about structure because he's added stuff where it goes elevator up, ding. He's done stuff. And you see the good, the bad, the ugly there.
Yes.
Visual, yes. So thanks, Ted. Actually, hey, since you're watching this, Ted, can you do something like a sparkle? I say the Buchner verse. No.
Do.
We now live in the same city, so I can just picture him just right now saying, "No, I'm not doing that." One of my favorite all-time Chiefs, who man, injury took him out of the Hall of Fame, I think will be Pro Football anyway, Eric Berry.
Yeah. Yeah, Eric Berry definitely had a Hall of Fame trajectory. I think he ends up short now.
Sadly, but he's here, and that's really good. So I was actually happiest for him. I don't know why I just sort of became a big Eric Berry fan. I'm not a Chiefs fan, but there's just something about this guy and how he came back, and you just wanted him to be even half of what he was, and unfortunately that wasn't the case. Robert Gallery, Iowa offensive lineman.
Yeah, unfortunately, remember the NFL is one of the worst draft picks of all time in the string of Raiders picks.
Yeah, well, I mean, 8 years isn't bad. It's not good if you're a first round pick.
I think it was number 2 overall too.
It was number 2 overall. Yeah, so it didn't quite work out, but I mean, it's draft season. We're going to see a lot of that. That's not going to work out. Yep. Derek Johnson, linebacker at University of Texas. So he had a really nice career there. Terrence Mathis, wide receiver, New Mexico. I forgot about him, actually. I didn't get to see a lot of New Mexico games. They weren't really on national TV. Bryant McKinney, we know him very well. University of Miami, offensive lineman, NCAA champion, Super Bowl champion.
Yep. You missed a couple names, by the way.
Oh, who did I miss?
Jeremy Maclin.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, and Bill Collar.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, well, that's why I have a co-host, because I missed some shit. All right. Corey Moore, defensive lineman.
Tech.
Yeah, Virginia Tech. So yeah, I think that so he would have been a teammate of Michael Vick when the Hokies first came up to.
Correct.
Yeah. To competing for the national championship, and I remember that pretty well because that was the year I decided I was going to pay more attention to college football. And my cousin, I think I mentioned to you, actually, you know him, Steve, when we did that you were a guest on that show too, when we did the We Are the World.
Yep.
Yeah. So like he's a Hokie.
Okay.
Yeah. So his son
got in the Hokie huddle, as all their stuff says.
Well, his son actually is a coach at FIU now.
Oh, cool.
Or is it FAU? It's an F and a U, and something's in between.
FGCU.
Yeah. Apologies, Steve, if you're watching, because I should have that down. Michael Stonebreaker, Notre Dame. If that's not a cool name, I don't know what is.
It's a fantastic name.
Yeah, and here's someone I guess you might want to talk about, Troy Vincent.
And Brian Westbrook, 2 Eagles there. Yeah, Troy Vincent. Interesting place in the hearts of Patriots fans, to put it that way. So, but
you did put it that way.
Yeah, 2 very, very good Eagles. 2 Eagles Hall of Famers. Probably, I guess Vincent may have an outside shot. Very, very outside. Westbrook was a great running back, but he'll never get there. Also a great running back, DeAndre Williams.
Very good running back. Very good running back for the Panthers. A forgotten player, I think. But it's nice to see that he sort of got in here. Very good player at Memphis. Coaches, I'll admit, I'm not that familiar with. First one, Monty Cater. Apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But Lakeland and Shepherd, I don't know those schools. And again, apologies. To Paul Johnson, Georgia Tech, Navy, and then Georgia again, or Georgia Tech again. Roy Kramer. This one, I think he got in more as a commissioner because you're not getting in as a coach for Vanderbilt. That's for damn sure.
Don't forget Central Michigan. He was at Central Michigan.
Okay.
I think you're more likely to get in at Central Michigan than Vanderbilt, to be honest.
I was like, so SEC commissioner though, from 1990 to 2002. That's the decade where the SEC pretty much decided, okay, we're number 1, and no one's been close, and that gap has been growing ever since.
I mean, what do you mean? The national championship game was one of the closest ever.
Which is so sad because the week before that was some of the most incredible college football.
Yeah, and
college football.
It sucks at TCU, who earned everything. I didn't follow college. I don't follow college football that much, but I did pay attention to TCU a little bit at the end, and they seemed like they earned everything, and then just got barnstormed. So
well, they did. They did. That's exactly what happened to him. It's uh TCU never should have been there. The fact that they got there was incredible. It is a testament to those kids, to the coaching staff, to everything about TCU. They went into the season unranked. They had to fight, scratch, claw for every bit of respect they got, and I think they just lost that lap. Once they got into that final, like,
Plus, Georgia's really good.
there's that. But we also remember Georgia was this close also from not making it.
That's true.
Ohio State had something to say. And,
yeah. And by the way, the last one, speaking of Georgia, Mark Richt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he was there for 2001-15 and closing off in Miami. So yeah, it was, these are some incredible names. There's always great names.
Yeah.
The only sort of criticism I have really with it, well, there are a few really, but the biggest one is in terms of coaches, you have to at least have a record of 600. And
yeah,
we've seen a lot of great coaches that just don't have the talent to do that.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name who just passed away at Ole Miss?
Yeah, he does not qualify.
Yeah, he's 3 wins short, and his team won the bowl game. So I guess he'd go into next season 2 years short had he lived.
The amazing thing too, right? Didn't see like one bad word in the heated SEC Twitter.
No, nothing.
Like, so that was really classy by the SEC. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it was a great, it didn't end exactly pretty, but it was a fantastic college football season. If you're just focusing the stuff on the field, of course, and forgetting that it's the NCAA.
Yeah, right.
Can before we go into those we lost, can I just give you a smorgasbord here?
Sorry, let's do one other thing before we get there. Just
quick. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, sorry. It's real fast. I'll handle this one. The National Sports Media Association Hall of Fame elected Lee Corso.
Well, not so fast.
Very, very well. I was like, wait, oh yeah, right. Throw away this Buckeye head. No, but so he was elected to the Sports Media Association Hall of Fame. And Pete Thamel, the cultural insider for ESPN, and Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic were given the National Sports Writer of the Year award from them. Mm-hmm. But also elected to the Hall of Fame with Corso, also ESPN sometime personality Bill Plaschke of Los Angeles Times, mm-hmm. And 2 posthumous people, noted sports essayist Roger Angle and Dan Kelly, the hockey announcer, were all elected. And Ian Eagle was the National Sportscaster of the Year.
Nice.
So just want to throw that out there. Another Hall of Fame. Anytime we can get Lee Corso to talk in front of a microphone, the man is a treasure. I think there's rumors we lost him this fall. He's still around. Let him have this victory lap and.
Well, sort of like when we go to those we lost. I mean, like right before we went on. I mean, there was a whole bunch of people saying that someone hadn't actually passed away who did. Talk about like rumors that.
I mean, Joe DiMaggio had to say on 3 separate occasions that they published his obituary before he died.
Can you imagine how that would be?
There were at least twice. Joe DiMaggio, they published his obituary. It's like, I'm not dead.
Yeah. So a lot of these places they get that stuff ready. When I had made my national television debut here in Canada on TSN, they were getting my buddy came with me, and so he was all messed up because he was in the control room watching, right? That's actually when I was presenting the first fictitious athlete Hall of Fame. So if you think this isn't a big deal, we are big in Canada.
Yeah.
So he was so they were working on the footage of the package for the death of Gordie Howe, but he wasn't dead yet. Yeah. They were just having it all queued up because I think he died a month later, but no, maybe it was longer than that. But it was just something that they were working on so that they didn't have to rush to do it. Morbid thoughts, but
that was that Saturday Night Live skit where they had Tom Brokaw going on vacation for the summer, so they had him recording Gerald Ford died today when he was mauled by wild wolves. all the way Gerald Ford could have died while he was on vacation. So
That's awesome.
anyway, all right. So let's go to your smorgasbord.
Oh yeah, so it's a smorgasbord of well, since we got sponsors and stuff, I just have to say a poo. The SOS, let's just say I can still say a poo poo platter. I
Yeah,
would
hold on. Just pause for a second. For those of you recording at home, we have a sponsor coming, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So anyway, continue. We're moving on up in year 4.
It is.
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
very excited
I'm
about it.
not making fun of us this time.
Yeah.
We do that enough anyway. So continue.
And each other.
Yeah, 100%. We deserve it.
I'm totally losing that. And so it's how perfect that sponsor is going to be betting related, and I keep losing. But anyway.
So anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, so this is the section where sometimes I don't do it every week, but I'll just say something that's on my mind. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. I've been a critic of some of the things that LeBron James have said over the years.
Okay.
May I say that I am loving 2 things that he just said, or said recorded a year ago, and is now going to be in a film.
Okay.
Space Jam stunk.
Yes.
His remake of that. But I'm guessing, I don't know if he was part of the production of this, but there's a remake of House Party.
Yeah, at his house.
At his house. And there's the clip of him as a hologram. And the 2 ones I saw was him just saying, I'm paraphrasing, I don't have it exactly, but anyone who criticizes your hairline is just jealous. Your hairline is perfect.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, you handled the decision to go to Miami perfectly.
Yeah.
LeBron, wonderful self-awareness. I absolutely love that. I loved House Party as a kid. Maybe it's a movie that I was not excited to see remade, but you made me excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
So credit where credit is due. I don't know whatever you had to do with it. I know you're a fan of that because of one of your many commercials. You're doing the kid and play dance. I forget with who. So I know I wouldn't be surprised actually if he was part of this production because it wouldn't surprise me. Because that's sort of like
about to become the owner. He's about to become the owner of the Las Vegas franchise. So
I think he will, yeah. And as long as he has nothing to do with player personnel, we'll do fine.
Yeah, it's gonna be he and John Henry of the Red Sox. So.
Well, yeah, maybe Michael Jordan can give him tips.
Yeah, but John Henry's going to sell the Red Sox, and he's going to sell Liverpool, and he's going to go all in on the new Vegas franchise. That's the worst kept secret in sports. So,
but that also made me want to do that idea we joked about, but we're going to do this. I think that's going to be a fall project where we're going to get out our tuxedos, although I don't have one, so I'm going to have to get one, and we're going to retroactively award the athletes for their fine performances in their roles. Starting, I think, with 1970. Is that when Blazing Saddles came out? I don't know who's going to beat Mongan.
Not a horse.
Not a horse, yeah. I think that's going to be great. We can also sort of like have sort of like the Cecil B. DeMille. What would be the version of this so that you can award Sonia Henney for that, one of your favorite films?
Oh yeah, God, I love that movie so much. I watched it a couple weeks ago.
Okay. We'll
Sun Valley.
Okay, since I know he watches this, we'll call it the Los Panuso. Okay.
Not yet. Vinny, you'll get there someday, but we're not quite there yet.
Oh well, yes, yeah.
Sun Valley Serenade is way too recent to be named the Los Panuso.
Okay,
it's 1940. Come on,
it sounds better than the Buchner.
Yeah, we'll figure out something else. No offense. We'll name something after Vinny, but that's not the award.
Well, I'm going to give Vinny some mad props in how, and I should have mentioned him on something that came up, but you came up, but he set up an interview for me.
Okay.
I'll just promote that now if you don't.
Promote it. Yeah. What the heck are you talking about?
Yeah, because it's not going to be. It's not on the site yet. This will go up first. But Vinny arranged an interview for me with Sean Foreman, who is the president of Sports Reference.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I had a chance to do a 20-minute conversation with him right before he went to because he gave me 20 minutes. But yeah, I can give you 20 minutes. I'm on my way to see They Might Be Giants.
Oh, we can't be silent because They Might Be Giants. What are we going to do unless they are?
There you go.
One of the few bands, them, Bad Company, and there's somebody else, because They Might Be Giants has a song, They Might Be Giants, off the album They Might Be Giants. So does Bad Company, has a song Bad Company off the album Bad Company. There's one more, I can't think of
Big
it.
Country.
No, it's In a Big Country is the name of the song.
Ah, crap.
And the album. That's what there's a third one, I can't think of what it is, but continue.
It's gonna bother me now. All right,
Yeah,
anyway, so I just want to put this out here. Vinny, thank you so much for arranging that. You are a huge asset to everything that we do here at Not Hall of Fame, and I'm very blessed that you are part of our family. So thank you. But one of the things that I got to talk to him about is we were talking about approximate value, and I mentioned how we've got our mock committee. And I said, it's thanks to you that I've got a Patriots, a friend of mine, good friend of mine, my co-host on another show, that is a big Patriots fan who loves Kevin Williams. And that's because of you.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So look for that soon. So if you're really into analytics and you want to know the man, if you pay attention to analytics, this is the guy who made so much of that possible. So it was so much fun talking to him about war, approximate value, some of the things that they developed in terms of like all the research involved in getting the sacks done in 1960, the Negro Leagues, and all the data that came up, and all the work that they've done on the WNBA. Because I've always said, what do they need to do? Promote the stats. That's what they're doing. And Sean's a big part of that. And it was great to learn a bit about that. So while all this stuff is more than alive, who's dead? There's no great segue to talk about dead people.
Very nice. By the way, Black Sabbath came close. Because Black Sabbath had a song, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, off of their Black Sabbath album. Mm-hmm. That wasn't it.
Bo Diddley.
Bo Diddley had a song named had an album Bo Diddley. Do you have a song named Bo Diddley too?
I think song might have been Hey Bo Diddley.
It might have been. Anyway, I'll figure that out for our future podcast. Because I have too many folks. So I know last week there was a little challenge for who passed away. So we'll go back and
I'm not good at this.
I know it's some research, man. It takes a little bit of time. I understand. Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't have your sensitivity. I might be. I'm the sarcastic Hawkeye, but I'm not sensitive Hawkeye.
Got it. All right, hold on a second here. Everything just decided to freeze on me, of course. Hold on. All right, so we're going to start with the Beige Mistress was active. All right, come on. What are we doing here? Give me 1 second. Everything just decided to freeze on me.
Well, while you're doing that, do you want to just talk about, like, we can talk about while you're researching, like, we're trying to get everything back up. So right before we went on, it was confirmed that someone passed away.
Yeah.
Or do you want to save that for later?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that 1 second.
We get to that one later. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So let's just start here. Did it load this time? Ferenc Mazaros, are you loading?
That was his wife's name. Are you loading?
Yes. Are you loading is his wife's name.
Might be. There's another joke there, but I'm gonna pass on that.
Oh man. Nothing. Everything just shut down. Can we, Kirk, can we pause here a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like just cut it and then have him. As I was saying, Ferenc Mazaros, a member of the Hungarian national soccer team, passed away at the age of 72. So there you go. The Beige Mistress still fighting her way through Hungary. From the world of wrestling, the Black Warrior from wrestling passed away.
That's not who I thought you were going to say. Okay, I don't know who the Black Warrior is. Like, is he? Was he in Lucha Libre? It sounds like someone who would compete in.
He is Lucha Libre, and of course everything froze again. Oh dear God. Okay. All right. After some more technical difficulties, we're back.
I didn't have a placard that I could just sort of like put, like those old things from like the 60s or something.
Yeah, like or the one on The Simpsons where Itchy chews through the or Scratchy chews through the cord and he's electrocuted, right?
I thought it was in some cases they're drunk. Maybe that's just what I wanted to see.
Could be that too. Anyway, Black Warrior, professional wrestler, luchador, passed away at the age of 54.
Oh,
Jesus Corral Lopez. There are a lot of people dying in their mid 50s this week.
hmm. Is there another
Um,
wrestler?
I didn't find one. Did you have one?
Yeah, there's just another quick one. Johnny Powers, who
I
was
missed that one.
yeah, all good. So yeah, Johnny Powers was a promoter, or not well, eventual promoter, but he wrestled a lot in the Buffalo, Cleveland area, and also Toronto and in Japan. So a pretty big name in that confined area. But yeah, sort of like in this he was I don't calling him the Bruno Sammartino of that area is a little bit steep, but there is I'm sure a lot of people that had fond memories of him. So that's all I wanted to say. That's where I thought you were saying from wrestling.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't see it for whatever reason.
Because
Speaking of
he's
having,
not from Hungary. If he was, you would.
if it was, he would. Speaking of having fond memories of somebody not from the United States, we had a few actors in roles that mattered to me that passed away this week, including Tatiana Petitz, who was one of the act models in the Freedom video, but more importantly to me was the love interest in Rising Sun, the Wesley Snipes Sean Connery flick from 1993, who was part of my coming of age.
Oh, wait a minute, I thought that
But
was
she
Tia
passed away.
Carrere.
There are a couple of them. Tia Carrere was in there as well, but Tatiana Petitz was a woman at the bar. Never mind. I'm not going to go into it. 14-year-old me was very excited by that movie, though. She passed away at the age of 56 of breast cancer.
Yeah, 50-year-old me is really upset and feeling old that Tia Carrere's last movie role, she played the old auntie in the Joe Coy film. But anyway,
Yeah. Also passing away, committing suicide, unfortunately, Buster from Dave and Buster's.
Oh,
Dave died back in 2015, but James Buster Corley had a stroke a few months ago, and it changed his ability to take care of himself and his personality and all sorts of stuff. And he couldn't take it anymore and committed suicide at the age of 72.
oh.
Also passing away from I guess companies. Ken Block of DC Shoes passed away at only the age of 55. He was also a race car driver in Rallycross and ERX supercar. So a lot of people I knew were very disappointed or upset about that. Also, do you ever remember 16 Candles?
Oh, of course, yeah.
The grandma from 16 Candles finally passed away. Carol Cook at the age of 98.
Wasn't was there two grandmas, were there not?
The one with the red hair. She was also an I Love Lucy as like Lucy's cousin back in the day. But she was 98 years old.
That movie ages great, except for Long Duck Kwong.
There's a slight problem with that one.
Yeah, I said, you know what? I mixed that up because I was just I was thinking about the guy who was Short Round.
Oh yeah, Lee Chen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This sounds awful.
Yeah. Don't put me on the spot. But anyway, who won the Golden Globe?
Well, Michelle Yeoh did.
They both did.
Oh, he did too?
Yeah, that movie's really, really tough to act in. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't, but I want to. It's on my
to watch. It's really interesting. It's a really interesting film.
Yeah.
Also passed away at 54, committing suicide, I believe. Adam Rich, the youngest kid from 8 is Enough.
So it was suicide.
That's the last, it's what was.
Yeah. Okay. You know, like that for me, I didn't know it was suicide because Adam Rich, he's only like 4 years older than I am, right? So like, this is like back in the day when if it was on a network, you're pretty much watching that show because there's nothing else.
Because there are like 9 shows.
Yeah. You're not far off.
Yeah.
But yeah, 8 is Enough ran a long time. It ran in syndicate or reruns anyway. So, I mean, like for me as a little kid, especially like when the reruns would happen, so he looked like my age, even though at that point he wouldn't have been. But you know, like that was sort of well, I think we had the same full haircut, you know, and shit like that too. So, Yeah, that one's pretty rough because I don't know if any of the other because of the other siblings have passed. I don't.
I did not look that one up, so I'm not
Uh,
sure.
no, it's that's the thing. I'm sure the scars of being a child star
Oh yeah,
might have
they
had a lot to do with it. I don't know, but
George Clooney has said one of the greatest things ever happened was he didn't become famous till later in life.
I yeah, I totally believe that. I mean, like what for every Jason Bateman, there's 100 Ricky Schroders.
Yeah, or like
Well,
just think,
Ricky Schroeder. That's not fair because Ricky.
just think of the Disney Channel people, like what's happened to all of them over the years.
Yeah, I was watching this documentary about Dan Schneider,
Mm-hmm.
like and all like I guess he was sort of like the producer guru for a bunch of Disney shows, and for me, Dan Schneider was the fat guy and head of the class.
Okay.
So like one of the actors there, and I didn't grow up with any of those Disney shows, obviously, because I was after my time or as a
Mm-hmm.
kid, and I don't have children, so I through osmosis I don't pick up on any of this stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
just the toxic, disgusting workplace. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it's an accident that so many of these Disney kids wind up a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So, one last person outside of what we do, I do want to talk about because there's so few of them left. Another Tuskegee Airman, Harold Brown, passed away in '98.
Mm-hmm.
Shot down during the World War II and was a prisoner of war for a while.
Are there any left, Evan?
What?
Are there any left?
There are a few left. I don't know how many, but this is maybe the seventh or eighth I've done. I'm not sure how many of them remain, but Harold Brown was one of them, Lieutenant Colonel Harold Brown. All right, so people who things we do talk about. Canadian football player Martin Fabi passed away at the age of 80. Still holds two records in the Canadian Football League. What do you think they are?
Longest rush going this way instead of this way.
That's a pretty good one, but no, he had the most punts in a regular season game at 18 and the most punting yards in a single regular season game. Now, I told you he had 18 punts. How many punting yards did he have in that game?
18 punts in a game?
Mm-hmm.
310.
814.
Whatever face I'm doing should be a meme or something. I don't know what.
814 punting yards.
Possible.
Yeah. At Calgary, while he was punting for the Montreal, I'm sorry, punting for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Oh, you know what? I should have took that. I was thinking in my head punting return yards. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But he had 18 punts for 814 yards at Calgary on September 14th, 1963.
I want to try and replicate that face. It's not working out.
It does work the second time around.
No, it's just like if I ever wore the Boca Junior shirt again.
Oh God. Yeah. I'm legitimately sad we don't have that one on tape here.
When you fly into here, that's what I'm wearing, man.
Yes. We've already talked about two Heisman Trophy winners. I unfortunately have a third one here. Charles White, who won the Heisman Trophy in 1979, was the NFL Comeback Player of the Year in 1987.
Okay.
Passed away at the age of 64.
Oh man.
His numbers retired at USC.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a award you can win in college, he's won it. The Heisman, the Maxwell, Chick Harley, Walter Camp, UPI Player of the Year, Sporting News Player of the Year, two-time Pac-10 Player of the Year, two-time unanimous All-American. He also played with the Browns and Rams. He's comeback Player of the Year, like I said, with the Rams in '87. Was a first-team All-Pro in '87, Pro Bowler in '87, rushing yards leader and touchdown leader in '87. But yeah, he passed away at the age of 64 of liver cancer. So, a member of the College Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Also passing away from the world of auto racing, Robbie Pierce, who is also a racer and an owner of Jimco Racing, which does a lot of the rally racing. He died at the age of 63 of a scuba diving accident. which I thought only happened in Agatha Christie books. We lost 3 folks from baseball. Actually, I guess 4. 1 from college baseball. Cliff Gustafson, a member of the College Baseball Hall of Fame, coach at the University of Texas, brought them to 2 college World Series in 75, 83. He was 82 coach of the year. He passed away at the age of 91. Baseball professionally, we lost 3 people I want to talk about a little bit. Nate Colbert passed away. Some of the greatest hair from the 1970s. Passed away at the age of 76. He played with San Diego from 69 to 74, which had with 3 All-Star selections. He was actually the first All-Star player in the history of the Padres.
Yeah. No, I somewhere I've got a ball card of him buried.
Yeah. Member of the San Diego Padres Hall of Fame, played also for the Astros, Tigers, Expos, and Athletics. A career 243 hitter overall, but had a very nice peak. And like I said, some of the greatest hair in the history of baseball cards.
That's what I would have gone for.
Might as well.
Baseball. Yeah. I mean,
also, a couple of Red Sox passed away. Bill Campbell, pitcher with the Twins, Red Sox, and Tigers, as well as the Cubs, Phillies, Cardinals, and Expos, passed away at the age of 74. He was on he was on the 85. Sorry, he was the All-Star in 77, 2 times Old Rollins Relief Award winner in 76 and 77, and the AL saves leader in 77 for the Red Sox. Ended with 126 career saves. Passed away in hospice care at the age of 74.
Sure.
And finally, passed away suddenly as well, mid-50s. Like I said, Lee Tinsley died. Played with Mariners, Red Sox, Phillies, Red Sox again, and Mariners. Coached with the Mariners, coached with the Diamondbacks, a few others. He passed away at the age of 53.
I remember him mostly with Seattle, yeah. So, like, do we know why he passed, or did it say?
They didn't say as of yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Also passing away, a member of the Tennis Hall of Fame, Dick Savitt, passed away at the age of 95. Won the 51 Australian and the 51 Wimbledon. Was a semifinalist in the U.S. Open twice and the French Open twice, or quarterfinal, excuse me, French Open twice. He was 95 years old. All right, now everybody else I have is music except for, I'll bring up the 1 Football Hall of Famer passed away, our oldest remaining Football Hall of Fame. We've now lost 2 of them, pretty much back to back with Franco Harris in the middle there. Art McNally passed away at the age of 97. Member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, one of those people who a lot of people were pushing for, the first outright official in the NFL Hall of Fame. Was only elected last year, was able to attend and be there. Had family speak for him, if I remember correctly. But yeah, the oldest living Pro Football Hall of Famer and the first official has passed away. That happened on the 1st, but I was.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of interesting to me personally, and Vinny and I have talked about that. The Los Panuso. I'm going to run with that for a while. Where it's fascinating to him and I, and I'm sure to you too, that football, which is a sport where rules are so more important than any other sport, I think more than the other ones combined, finally has 1 official inducted, and basketball's got so many more.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Hockey League hasn't strong-armed his way in.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's the man.
Football just has had a very weird system for a very long time that didn't get streamlined and straightened out at all until like the mid 2004, 2005. And it's been getting better as we're going. So a lot of those mistakes are being corrected, but slowly.
But you talk about mistakes, though, right? When Ed Hockley screwed up, he would own it better than anyone, which is also why you loved him even more. Not because he could kick your ass, but wouldn't, because he's Ed Hockley. He's a nice guy. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Ed Hockley might be. I'm dead serious when I say this. Uh, if I were to go through the top 50 NFL personalities, and that's a hell of a lot, I would. But I have Hockley in my top 50 of everyone who had
I
anything to do with
I
the NFL.
I
I'm
can
dead
see
serious.
that. I can
Dead serious.
100% see that.
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody else I have is from music, sort of, at least. So first, the guitarist from Anvil,
Oh.
Sebastian Marino, passed away.
Oh shit. Okay. I didn't catch that. Is he was he one of the original ones?
He was there 89 through 95, so sort of.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. The lead singer was my ex-wife's landlord for a bit. When
Really,
yeah,
Steve
yeah.
Steve Litzkudlow.
Yes. Okay, yeah, because we separated. And my ex and I, right? So, it, I'll tell the story. Uh, so I've been kind. So I'm helping her get to into her place, and here comes the landlord. And it's this guy with this massive curls and a bald spot in the back of his head, and he's wearing an Anvil T-shirt. And I don't know what my ex said. I don't care what she said. If you're watching, you can still go after yourself. But anyway,
Keep going.
yeah, thank you. And it was like, oh no, man, I'd never screw you over, man. No, man, never do that. And I remember thinking, I've seen this guy before. And it wasn't until 2 years later that I realized, like, holy crap.
Well, they had that documentary. I didn't even know.
Yes.
I didn't know Anvil existed until that documentary came out. I thought
Yeah.
it was like a Spinal Tap, like fake documentary.
Yeah.
And then I went and saw it. I'm like, these guys are fantastic and ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I know I can totally see what you're talking about. If I had met him in real life.
Yeah, because I don't know, a Toronto guy, right? So like I knew who Anvil was, but like not enough to. It's like I knew you, but
Mm-hmm.
and like that was the guy. So he was my. Yeah, so like when you see all that, when you look at that documentary, and it's like his sister sort of like talking about how they're pretty much bailing him out of everything. That was one of the ways.
There you go.
Yeah. So I was wondering if it was the other guy. That's why I was sort of
No,
hoping more. Okay.
I do love the fact too that Anvil's drummer is named Rob Reiner and doesn't look anything like the other Rob Reiner. He's Rob with two B's though, to make sure. So
yeah, that's Spinal Tap, especially when they're in. Is it Hungary? Somewhere in that area, man.
All right. We also lost from the Whispers, who are a American group, R&B group, who had two hits, and The Beat Goes On in 1980 and Rock Steady in 1987. I've lost the name of my person here. Hold on. Gordy Harmon, one of the soul singers, passed away at the age of 79. From the Wrecking Crew, that famous group of musicians, Dennis Budimir passed away. Jazz guitarist. Again, I love sidemen just because of who they've played with. He started in the 1950s. He passed away at the age of, he's born in 38, so that makes him 84. He didn't turn 85 as of yet. But he worked with starting Peggy Lee, Joni Mitchell, The Carpenters, Brian Wilson, Barbra Streisand, Ravi Shankar, Frank Zappa, Linda Ronstadt, Dusty Springfield, Quincy Jones, Tom Waits, Harry Nilsson, George Harrison, Ringo Starr, Cher, Doris Day, Ella Fitzgerald, Stan Getz, Jimmy Smith, Ray Brown, Johnny Mandel. Like, these guys just worked with everybody and on every record we've ever heard, and none of us know their names. But just another member of the Wrecking Crew passing away. There aren't that many of those guys left. How many got left?
Oh, there can't be. I mean, like because Glenn Campbell was part of that Wrecking Crew, if I remember. Yeah.
God, there's so many of them here. Yeah, well, I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, he passed away, as I said, at the age of 84. Also passing away, Alan Rankine, one of the founders of the British rock band The Associates, who had bunch of hits in the 70s. in England, passed away at the age of 64.
Yeah, Party Fears too.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that song.
Nice. I wasn't sure anybody knew, so I just figured I'd say and move on.
Yeah.
Then the four biggest names. I gotta start Gangsta Boo, passing away. One of the few trailblazing women in the hip hop scene. Passed. She was a member of, probably rose with the member prominence. Thank you for saying that. Most with 3-6 Mafia, where she joined at the age of 16. But she and her brother were out partying for New Year's. 43.
Oh, god damn.
She was out partying for New Year's, and she and her brother got some cocaine that apparently had some fentanyl in it. And her brother OD'd and got to the hospital and survived. And she apparently didn't realize he'd taken the coke, took some herself, and there was nobody there for her. She passed from the fentanyl. At least that's what the story is saying. At the age of 43. Yeah. So
I think my favorite, well, doesn't seem appropriate to say it now, but I'll say it anyway. I think my favorite 3-6 Mafia quote was, I don't know who was hosting the Oscars that time, when they won. I think what they won for they won for something.
I can't remember, but go ahead.
And the host comes out, 3-6 Mafia 1, Martin Scorsese 0. Because at the time he hadn't won it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
One of the remaining White brothers of Earth, Wind, and Fire, Fred White, passed away at the age of 67. Earth, Wind, and Fire, of course, Maurice White, Verdine White, and Fred were the three main guys, plus a whole bunch of other people.
I think you have to die in September if you remember that band.
You know, the 21st night of September, right? 23rd night of September. Do you remember? 23rd? Yeah, it's 23rd night of September. Sorry. Yeah, but
I try to keep the levity.
Yes. So passed away at the age of 67.
Mm-hmm.
The name you've been trying to talk about for a while here, Lisa Marie Presley, passed away at the age of 54.
Well, yeah, because I guess I didn't know whether this, because I know how you do this right now at this point.
Yeah.
Do you put her in with music?
I guess. I mean,
yeah.
I wasn't quite sure, but she passed away at the age of 54. Her grandmother died of a heart attack at 46. Her dad died at 42. She died at 54. Seems to be a habit in that family. Talk about an interesting life. I mean, anyone who's married to both Michael Jackson and Nicolas Cage. So,
but only had sex with one of them. No,
boy. Yeah, but yeah, 54. Just a couple days ago, she was at Golden Globes, talking about, because the Elvis movie was up for the Golden Globes.
I didn't watch the Golden. I didn't even know that was still. I thought that was canceled.
Yeah, well, that was the joke. They had an African American host. He says, opens up just by saying, "Just so you know, I'm here because that's a black guy available." So,
I saw the stuff after, right? It's like, so when I'm seeing everything trend on Twitter, because apparently I'm still one of the few people who give a crap about Twitter, but the trends, not necessarily about.
Yeah.
Because if you're looking for me to say anything controversial on Twitter, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, that's not happening either. There's no upside to that. So,
God no, or on any social media platform for that matter. But I don't know.
I mean, she did release 3 albums. So,
I knew there was one. I didn't know there was 3.
Yeah, her To Whom It May Concern in 2003, which hit number 5 on the U.S. charts. Now What hit number 9.
She had what? She had 2 top 10 albums.
She did. And her last one, Storm and Grace, hit number 45 in 2012.
That's probably more top 10 albums than the headliner you're going to talk about.
Yeah, maybe.
As a solo, yes.
It's possible. Well, let's just go to it. Jeff Beck died of bacterial meningitis at the age of 78.
What? There was no, and I wrote this when I did this quick little bit, and I truly believe this. There's no 2 fusion guitar styles that I don't think he could have not meshed.
Agreed.
Yeah. Beck he had an interesting career to me in terms of, I don't know of anyone more respected who was so successful early in his career commercially. Because if you look at everything he did after 66, when he left the Yardbirds, didn't sell a whole lot of albums, had no hits.
No.
And when you said Jeff Beck, like, you know,
Well, I mean, he's widely considered to be one of the 5 greatest guitar players of all time.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's
And-
one of those things where talent and I guess commercial success aren't necessarily the same. I spent a lot of time actually this because I knew we were going to talk about Beck. Just listening to everything he did, and you listen to one Jeff Beck bit from like one era and then from another, and you can't tell it's the same person.
I know.
To me, I mean, like, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, put it this way: he won 3 Grammys in 2010.
Mhm.
One for pop collaboration with vocals, one for pop instrumental performance, and one for rock instrumental performance. And that was the same album.
Mhm.
They had 3 different songs that won in 3 different categories. I mean, there's not much more you could say about Jeff Beck than that. I mean, he was universally beloved. When he passed away, just the tributes that came in from Ozzy Osbourne to, like, I mean, just literally anyone you could possibly think of who matters in rock and roll. Just amazing because of all the people. Like, he was a vegetarian, like kept himself in good shape, didn't really, like, at least recently hadn't done very many of the psychedelics and drugs that a lot of people were doing.
Yeah, but it's still 78.
Yeah, he was still 78, and it was bacterial meningitis. But I mean, come on, like 3 of the 4 Rolling Stones are still alive. I mean, Jeff Beck is someone I expected to.
There's only one Rolling Stone we're really thinking about. Let's be blunt.
Well, I know,
Yeah,
but like, yeah, it's a big loss. Like I said, he's in as a member of the Yardbirds, also as a solo artist, despite the fact he never sold anything, as you said, or sold very little. Just that respect,
which is fine. I mean, like, I'm not. I didn't mean that as a slight for any. I know you know that, but for anyone else, sort of like, because I know that there's some people who will look at, like, who will use that metric,
right?
Which we do not. Another project eventually we'll get to is Evan and I. We're going to rank our like. Thanks, Vulture. Well, here's our response. Was it Vulture? I think so.
Yeah, Vulture. Yeah, that guy from Vulture. So I don't remember his name. It's not really that important. I mean,
Stevie Nicks is last.
Yeah, Stevie Nicks is last, and I still remember. I can't remember. I can't remember which order it was, but it may be this guy, because when Queen got in to the Rock Hall, somebody said he couldn't believe Queen was in because they're a one-hit wonder, and I'm like, so was it what? God, I can't remember who said the
Which
same
hit would that be?
I don't know. Someone else said that about the Cure, that they're one hit wonder when they were up for so many times back in the day. Like, my first one hit wonder.
My favorite thing. Did you ever see that bit when Cure did get in, and it was the ceremony, and I don't know who it was who was interviewing them on their red carpet, and they're interviewing Robert Smith, or I guess the rest of the members, but. So, are you as excited as I am to get to for this night? And then Robert Smith, well, apparently not.
Good.
He's evidently just the only way, and the only way that someone who looks like a 60-year-old drag queen can do. But
yeah, Robert Smith is fun Morrissey. So,
wow.
At this point, anyway,
I got to remember that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So the lead singer of the Cure is the fun person of that. Okay, this is.
So anyway, let's get your elevators up, elevator down.
Elevator up, elevator down.
Yeah, I had a whole giant elevator down, but
your giant elevator down, we're just gonna have transition into my ugly.
Okay, all right. So I still have an elevator down, which stays in music, and okay. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. I generally don't care what your political opinions are.
Just don't be an asshole.
Don't be, yeah, well, okay. Now, going over the last 2 months, as we're doing this here in the first month of 2023, I said that about Kanye, and then Kanye just said, hold my beer, here's my brewery.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't, and I said when all this stuff came, and I hope that when we get canceled or anything, when someone sort of like isolates my stuff, they come back to what I just say here, which was initially I said I would still vote for Kanye. Now I'm not so sure, but anyway, because
Whatever. Keep going.
yeah, thank you. The person I'm sort of thinking of right now, and I don't know that she was ever that close, but that's MIA.
Mm.
And I've been sitting on this for a while. Like a couple months ago, sometimes just appearing on a show with somebody is enough. So she was on a podcast with Candace Owens,
Oh, yeah.
tying in with Kanye, I suppose. And
Yeah.
I haven't watched it, and I don't plan to. It's not an anti-Candace thing. I got enough shit to do. All right, so the synopsis is just going to have to do. But MIA was pulled from a festival in England a couple days ago.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm not familiar with this one, but apparently it's a big EDM festival, Field Day festival, and she's been making comments against Pfizer, against other things that agree, I disagree, don't know, don't care. I really don't. But the people who would vote for this sort of thing do. And if you're on that side of the political aisle, you're not getting voted by this group. And that's sort of why I brought this up earlier. And I tried to do my little foreshadowing, right? With how the people who voted for Reggie Bush could give a shit. Damn it! I guess I'm not going to get sponsored on this one. On how Reggie cheated, not cheated, or used inappropriate stuff. Got the air quotes for just people listening. So, or inappropriate funding for his family. So, MIA has now been labeled as a right-wing conservative. Is she? Don't know. She'll talk to them who are, and that's enough for some people who will vote for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't agree with that. I think it goes back to what you and I have said to sports fans. Let's try to let what you do on the field matter. It's not quite the same rules in music, is it? In terms of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because there's not the whole.
I mean, let's be honest though. There's few bigger jerks in the history of pop culture than Eric Clapton, and he's in 3 times.
That's also true. But a lot of people did not realize some of his right-wing beliefs, which he may not have even had then. I don't know. I mean, I was never a big Clapton. I love his music. I didn't love him, if that makes sense. I think I've said this before. There's a few Clapton things that I was never a big fan of. MIA, though, I don't know that I would have ever voted for her anyway, but she fits a lot of check marks that a lot of those people on the left who are on this group that would probably be voting look for. There's nobody that looks like her in the Rock Hall. Nobody even close. Nobody that sounds like her. I don't know. Like for me personally, I try and put her in that category, and you might be the same with me, with people like Bjork and other sort of experimental women of that era. I don't know.
I think Bjork's got a lot better chance.
I do too, but I'm talking about like in terms of a certain level. I hope what I'm trying to say is sort of like coming out. Maybe it's not, but I think that a lot of people that might have had her on the radar who have that type of power are saying, forget it. And that's not going to go away. And as you watch all this stuff, we watch people get radicalized on either side of any aisle. She might be one who does go that way. I don't know. I hope not. It's a weird time that we're living in, I think, that where when I was younger, when I was a kid, it was the people who were anti-establishment that were the rock stars and the punk stars. Now it's the opposite. don't know what that means. I usually, if you got canceled, it was because you were too controversial. This is still the same, but now you're too controversial because you think Jesus is real. Like, I don't know. I'm not a religious guy. I didn't research this enough. I just like a couple of her albums. I still do, and I always will, even with Kanye. But I'm not talking about what I think. I don't have a vote.
Yeah.
I'm talking about what the actual vote is.
Right.
And why she's an elevator down.
Right.
And that's sort of where I'm going with this. And it's kind of screwed up that I feel like I have to qualify everything without worrying that I'm offending a certain group.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of where I feel with it with this one. And I've been sitting on this one for a while. Like I'm again, maybe because I'm just like a straight white guy in his 50s. I know nobody wants to hear what I have to say. I'm sure you're listening to this, and I guess maybe you have to want to hear what I have to say. I don't know. But it's a strange world that I don't quite get. But the people who care about this will care about where she stands right now.
Yeah, I don't think she really had that much of a shot at getting in anyway.
I don't either, but my biggest elevator
we're
down.
in a situation still where Diana Ross is not in on some solo artist.
No, I agree with you, but she's somebody when she's eligible will be ranked.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I think what she did was different. It was unique. And a lot of people who now hate her loved her then.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, and some of those are decision makers. Hence, elevator down.
Got it. Now for the elevator to the inner reaches of hell.
Is that a Tenacious D song? That sounds
it
like one,
should be. If it's not, it should be.
Yeah.
This goes right into my ugly. So do we want to just go right into it, or are we going to do a theme song here? So starting
ugly, bad, good, or
time,
ugly, good, bad. What are we doing here?
We're doing ugly, bad, good because it makes sense to go right into the ugly from your,
all right, let's do it.
Your elevator down into mine. So go ahead.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Go with your second.
Okay. All right.
This is my ugly, but it's your baby. So
all right. 6 months ago, maybe it was 6, 7 months ago, I don't remember exactly.
Something like that.
On an elevator up, I said everyone who ever wrestled, more or less,
yes,
is an elevator up. Vince McMahon is back. And by no accident, let's just stay political. It happened on January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
That he said, you know what? I still have all the power. I'm back. And he did. And a day ago, it looked like he sold everything to the Saudis. That doesn't seem to be the case now, or at least it's not official.
Mm-hmm.
But
I am a real Arabian. Yeah, that.
Fight for what was that? The next line: fight for the
rights of only men. Yes,
right. And
it was a meme going around with Hulk Hogan with a green shirt on,
as it should be, The WWE was my major passion as a kid. It was everything to me. Mm-hmm. In only the 3 years that you and I have known each other, my fandom has plummeted until Triple H.
We've known each other longer than 3 years. The 4 years we've been doing this. We've known each other a lot longer.
Yeah, I guess so. Sorry. 4 years. Yeah, season 4.
We've been doing this for 4 years, but I knew you when I was still a lawyer, and that was 10 years ago. So.
Oh shit! Yeah, I guess the other stuff we were doing. Yeah.
Yeah, we were doing other stuff. I was writing.
Yeah, I didn't know you were a lawyer then.
Yeah, I was a lawyer then. I was a very, very unhappy lawyer who needed to do something, made it look like I was working.
I just knew you were Spheniscus or
Spheniscus. Yes, that is Spheniscus is the genus of penguins because I used to feed penguins on a point.
You think I would have asked you what that meant? I never did.
Yes, Spheniscus, like African black-footed penguin, Spheniscus demursus.
Oh, there you go.
So
Well, I guess it
Spheniscus
wasn't all the
capitulus, yeah, all those things. Right, now continue.
Yeah. So Vince has taken back over, and legally he could. From everything that we know about the finances, he sort of stepped back because it was publicly traded, because it sort of seemed better. Now he's returned. And Vince, how do I put this delicately? Okay, so some of you who are listening are not a wrestling fan. So imagine the last few years of Al Davis, but imagine him as an even bigger psychopath with devil horns. That's who Vince McMahon is now. Basically, the person who created something that you loved and it was brilliant until he wasn't.
He's basically become like the evil version of his Mr. McMahon evil character.
I think he was always a bit that, but he still had. Well, I think he still has the business acumen. The creative acumen left him years ago. And Vince taking back power in the WWE is. I can't compare this. There is no other disaster in company proportions that I can think of, in sports proportions that I can think of. Him coming back is, I just picture the triumvirate of Dan Snyder, Donald Trump, and the ghost of Al Davis's the last 5 years saying, yeah, maybe you shouldn't. Like that's how shitty this is. He doesn't know what he's doing creatively. Business-wise, I don't know. Creatively, he's a disaster.
But creatively is such a big part of that business.
Well, of course it is. I mean, like, why are ratings on, I mentioned earlier, WNBA is not great. It's not because of marketing, it's because we're not entertained. That's all it is. Entertain people, they will come. That's all there is to it. There's no difference. So the fact that he was able to do this, he was never not able to do this, actually.
Right. That was the whole thing you said when he stepped down. There's no reason he can't come back.
Yeah.
He wasn't barred from coming back.
And I'm struggling too, because like, if he wants to sell his own creation, it's his to do so. But I've never seen anyone in any walk of life, and I'm going to include any politician you want to think of. I took a shot at Trump. I'll take a shot at Trudeau, like anybody. I don't care what political aisle you are on. There's nobody who's got who's more of a lack of self-awareness in the world than Vince McMahon.
Wow.
I truly believe that.
In a world where Elon Musk exists, that's
yeah.
a statement.
I don't care who you bring up.
Elon Musk has a much better sense of himself than what at Facebook. That dude has no idea what's going on.
I honestly think Elon can sort of so when I opened up the show with LeBron, right? Like that's sort of like why I just sort of like gave massive praise. Like, holy shit, you get some of this crap. I thought you didn't. You do. Yay! Vince will never figure that out ever. Vince will never do what's best for anybody else. His own daughter
got forced out.
Well, she said, well, she wasn't forced out. Well, maybe she wasn't. Maybe she wasn't.
But when something bad happens and you resign, you're forced out.
Okay, and that's your dad.
Yeah.
And that is your dad. I'll leave it at this. A few months ago, I said, like, I started watching it a bit again. If he winds up selling to the Saudis, I will cancel my WWE network. Now, that doesn't mean a lot to you, or other people watching. To people who've known me for 20, 25 years, it's pretty fucking big. Damn it, I screwed that up. Anyway, but it's still it's really big.
Understood.
I might watch something where I'm not paying them, but they're like anything for that WWE Hall of Fame. It means less if he's part of it. Everything means a whole lot less. Triple H, as much as there was a lot of accurate criticism about him 15 years ago, became the internet darling who got it and wanted to make people happy in what they watched. Vince thinks that he's not that person. And, I didn't use that January 6th thing accidentally. I mean, he's tied in with the whole Trump thing. And again, think I'm shooting on Trump, fine. If you think I'm not, fine. Don't care. But it's a weird type of insurrection in the same sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly believe that. I truly do. And
like I said, that's why it was going to be my ugly and your elevator massively down and massive just combining, because there's nothing uglier that happened in sports this week than what happened.
Yeah, especially if it went to Saudi Arabia, and it still might.
It still might.
It still might.
Although I hear the Iranians are interested. So
yeah, it's because since we're still here, let's put this in perspective of things that we've just watched in the last 3 months, which was the disgusting World Cup, which was great soccer. You and I
great
love
soccer. Awful.
Yeah, and I say this here on the other side, I guess, of the political aisle. Hi, Americans, Canadians. If you think you're really oppressed, yeah, well, maybe watch the World Cup and just see all the other stuff that comes out of there. Let's see how you feel there. Anyway, so equal opportunity.
Yeah.
And Cristiano Ronaldo, okay, signed for 80 million. Okay. But this is somebody selling, he would rather sell his organization, possibly. And next week, who knows? This changes hour by hour. Maybe after we finish this, we'll look at something that happened. He would rather sell that to this group. Now remember, the WWE in 2001, right after did this whole patriotism thing after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
So he sold to the group that might have been responsible for it.
100%. Yeah.
And screwed over his daughter, who did a whole lot in that. I'll finish this with one quote. Stephanie McMahon said that her dad always said, in business, sometimes you have to enjoy the taste of shit and like it. I don't know that this is what she got out of that.
Understood.
And I'll tell you, you and I were in business together. We may not agree on everything. There's going to be things that we probably won't. I will never make you eat the taste of shit.
Fair enough. That's a good deal. If we do disagree or across like a continental borders, or
no, but yeah, I hope I was trying to. I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, yeah, because the whole thing could be a. All right, let's please get me out of here.
Let's go from ugly to just merely bad for now. The Houston Texans. So I'm going to make a prediction for you right now.
I won't bet on it because I'll be wrong.
The Houston Texans, between now and the end of February, will hire Josh McCown as their head coach.
Okay.
They wanted to do that last year, but all the Brian Flores stuff, where they didn't interview anyone else, they panicked. And they hired Lovie Smith, who is now their third head coach in a row, who's African American, who they fired after one season or less.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
They fired Bill O'Brien, who went 0-4. Romeo Crennel took over and went 4-9 with a team that was terrible. And they fired him to replace him with David Culley, who didn't do that much better, but again, had his quarterback sat out all season, right?
Yeah, how did you do this year? Anyway, but go on.
Yeah, and they didn't really have the talent around him. They fired him to bring in Lovie Smith because they were worried about violating the rule. The ownership and structure of that franchise, and I do not say this lightly, that is the worst run franchise in sports in North America.
Not the most corrupt, but worst.
Not the most corrupt, the worst run.
Yeah.
The Commanders are a better run organization than the Texans right now.
There's a sentence, huh?
Yeah. By the way, the 4 teams that can be in the Hard Knocks are the Commanders are one of them for next season, because there's a rule for what you have to do in order.
Okay,
to
I didn't know
qualify
that.
for
What's the
Hard
rule?
Knocks. It's you have to miss the playoffs for 2 consecutive seasons and not finishing under 500 and not have been on the show recently. Essentially, is what it comes down to.
I had no idea. Do you know why those rules exist?
So missed playoffs last 2 seasons. Head coach has to be in their 2nd season or greater, so it can't be a rookie head coach.
Mhm.
And they haven't hosted Hard Knocks in the past decade. So there are 4 franchises. I told you one is the Commanders. Can you name the other 3? Missed the playoffs at least the last 2 years. Head coach is going to at least their 2nd season and has not been a Hard Knocks team for the last.
Okay, this will be hard because I haven't watched Hard Knocks. So, Giants.
Giants made the playoffs.
Okay, for this year. Just tell me because like I
The
don't
Jets,
know. Okay, yeah.
the Bears, and the New Orleans Saints are the only.
Should have known when you pressured me that it was going to be this.
Bears, Saints, Jets, Commanders are the only 4 franchises eligible. So
I had no idea that that evening. Okay,
yeah, so
I don't know how to feel about
my
that.
guess is they give it to the Bears, who have Justin Fields and the 1st overall draft pick.
Do they get paid extra for this? Like what's their financial? It's got to be something, right?
No, I don't know, but I my guess is it's probably the Bears who they end up picking, because when else they could be able to pick the Bears? So, but anyway, going back to the Texans. So there's Deadspin had an article which I actually agree with, that black coaches should boycott going to the Texans, because the Texans want to hire their guy. Don't do the token interview. Bomani Jones, I think it was on CNN, it was asked about this story, and one of the people said, why did Lovie Smith go there? He said, because that's the only team that would hire him. And he wanted to be a head coach again. And said, well, if he knew he was only be there for a year, why do it? And Bomani said, because getting paid to be an NFL head coach for 1 year is better than not being paid to be an NFL head coach at all. Same thing, David Culley had been a wide receivers coach before. He got paid a lot more for that 1 season as a head coach.
And then there's always the what if.
What?
There's always the what if.
There's always a what if. Yeah, what if all of a sudden you go 9-7 with that team, as opposed to whatever. Oh, by the way, my favorite part about the whole thing is they were leading for the number 1 draft pick the whole time, and the whole team just banded together and beat the Colts in that last game.
Didn't we do this last year, right? Where you're good was the 2 teams fighting for dead last, the Lions and the Jags.
Mm-hmm.
Had phenomenal weeks. I think it was then week 17 seasons or games.
No, there was week 18. They had that
week
last
18.
year.
Sorry, I can't.
Last year was the first 17 games.
Okay, well, okay. My apologies. But they both played well, and I love the fact. I'm no Jags guy or Lions guy for that matter, but I love the fact that those 2 teams said, "Screw it, we're going to try to win this game. Fuck the number 1 pick." All right, I screwed that up. F the number 1, whatever.
We gotta work on our swearing if you haven't sponsored.
Yeah. But
anyway, continue.
I'm happy that both of them that at the end of that were still relevant at the end with Jackson.
Yeah, the Jags made the playoffs. The Lions, because of tiebreakers, didn't have a chance that last game.
Yeah,
but they knocked the Packers out in Lambeau and ended up with a winning record for the first time since God knows when.
No, exactly. And like for me, those players last year and this year, hats off, man. Like that is fantastic.
And by the way, hats off the Lions sticking with Dan Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Or is not Dan Campbell? What's the coach's name? God, I can't. Hold on, that's bad. Dan Campbell used to coach the Falcons.
Well, while you're looking that up, Jared Goff had a great.
No, it is Dan Campbell. I was right. It is Dan.
Yeah.
No.
So like this was something that was really, really good to watch, and watching players and coaches say, "Screw that, we are going for this. we're not going to be the dead last team of the year.
Dre Bly, who's the cornerbacks coach of the Lions, when they got that interception, was so freaking excited.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions, so excited, going out of his mind.
And this stuff will carry over. And the fact I'm so happy, just as a football fan, that Detroit did what they did.
Yeah, 100%.
That Jacksonville did what they did, and I hope that we see this. I don't know. I hate the Houston ownership. This struggles me.
Yeah, the Houston's not going to do that. They need to change ownership. I will call this though. Mm-hmm. The Lions will make the playoffs next year, and the Packers will not make the playoffs again.
I wouldn't bet against you.
That is.
I lose because I always do.
Remember Dan Campbell? We're going to bite their kneecaps off. That weird quote. You just seemed like this weird guy, and the team kept losing. He's like, we're going to keep fighting, we'll keep going. He's a guy who was in the trenches with his players. He wasn't like above them. He was digging with them. Mm-hmm. And maybe they never end up winning anything or whatever. But the fact he brought that franchise, which was god awful for half a decade, did 9-8 this season. Good for him. And the Jags are in the playoffs. So are they going to win? Who knows? But hey, they're there. So good for them as well. Oh, by the way, one other wrinkle for you with the schedule next year. Mm-hmm. The NFC is at AFC for the 17th game, the extra game. Mm-hmm. Patriots are going to be welcoming the Saints as that extra game next year. So the Saints go to Foxborough.
Well, maybe we have to bet on that, and a certain sort of company can help us with that.
We shall see. So
foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. So now we'll get to my good.
All right.
I just
always close with the good, man. This is what we always have to do.
One good. Just the overall response for the Bills player. I can think of his name right now.
Damar Hamlin.
Damar Hamlin. Thank you. Around the league, with the exception of fucking Pittsburgh Steelers players who did a CPR celebration when I got in the end zone. Just don't.
Wait, what? Say that.
Yeah, again? They got in the end zone and the Steelers did a CPR celebration.
I just did another meme face. Sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Holy no, I missed that.
Yeah, it wasn't good. So congratulations, by the way, Mike Tomlin keeping his streak of consecutive winning seasons intact, but screw you guys. But the rest of the league coming together, and the Patriots being so hospitable as to not tackle anybody on the opening kickoff to give the Bills the lead was also helpful.
Yeah,
but no, that was nice. I'm glad he's recovering. I don't know if he'll ever play football again, but at least the guy's going to be alive. So good for him.
Yeah, okay. You weren't with us last week, so I had flashbacks of our
I listened to it though. I listened to it.
No, but to the whole. You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So there was all these flashbacks from when you and I were watching, and I apologize, I don't remember the name of the player for Denmark.
Christian Eriksen.
Thank you. So there's so much good here, and I just want to focus on that. Everything, and I said that last week. I'll say that again here now. I don't know how much they learned from what they saw, or if they thought about what they saw. But there's so many people who were so good here. Not just the first responders, but I think the people, because I was an hour behind in terms of like watching this.
I was the one who told you on Twitter in our group chat that I never posted.
Yeah, because like I was an hour and a half behind watching everything because I was out on this amazing sort of like light display that was happening here in the Great Winnipeg, near Mount Manitoba, and so I knew it was happening. So I watched everything as it was sort of happening, and the commentators were phenomenal in terms of respect, in terms of. I mean, the next day we can say what we want, but like at that moment, and I wonder how much of that was sort of like from what they learned, or if anything, maybe they didn't. I don't know. I mean, for
Yeah.
me, there was echoes like crazy
Yeah.
from what we already watched.
Mhm.
And thankfully, I think it's going to be a similar scenario where it's going to be a full recovery.
Yeah, I don't know. Christian Eriksen's back playing soccer. I don't know if we're ever going to see that for DeMar Hamlin, but
I don't know, but I mean, like, he's out of the hospital.
he's out of the hospital.
I mean, like, when that all happened, anyone who watched that thought he was dead.
Yeah, and just one more. Well, the one person who I know people went after Skip Bayless. I think that tweet was taken out of context. I hate saying that, but it was in the middle of a whole bunch of other stuff, and that one
I
tweet,
agree with you.
people misread it. I'm not a big Skip Bayless fan, but that one I'm not. I'm going to give him a pass on. Bart Scott can go to hell.
I agree with you. Yeah, because I think if going back to that tweet, uh, apologies if I've repeated this here. If Bayless sort of like led with "none of this matters," which he ended with that tweet,
Which is what he ended with, right? And
right.
again, there was also a tweet beforehand that essentially said none of this matters. That was the second tweet out of three.
Yeah. Well,
So,
Bayless is somebody who's so easy to hate.
well, yeah, Bayless is an asshole, and like he just is, and what the way he's been treating, I don't like Shannon Sharp that much.
But
The
they're
way he's
both
treating Shannon
both,
Sharp on that,
and I think that's what we have to remember. Both Shannon and Skip are paid.
I understand, but like,
Right.
I'm sorry, I don't want to get on Shannon Sharp. This is a good section. We're getting off of this and
Okay.
Skip Bayless. So that was just one good thing I wanted to mention. Here's the actual good thing.
Mhm.
Angel Hernandez is trending on Twitter.
I saw that before we went on. Okay, dude, please.
It's
Go.
the middle of January. Why is Angel Hernandez trending on Twitter? Because AAA is getting robot strike zones for the whole season in 2023. Like, there are very few sports where I feel like you can use the robot, whatever, like tennis has the eagle eye thing you can do that with. If they have the technology that they can do, it's doing AAA the whole time, where you'll have an umpire back there to worry about foul tips and drop pitches and things like that, calls at the plate, just like they would at first, second, and third. But you take the strike zone away from Angel Hernandez, there's a reason Joe West is retired. He saw the writing on the wall here, right? And you can make Angel Hernandez. You can make Angel Hernandez.
95 is alive. Sorry.
Vinny thinks he's going to be a Hall of Famer, which is insane.
Whoa. Vinny thinks that.
Yeah, 100%.
Joe West?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, Vinny, I'm repealing the Los Banuso.
Yeah, to bring it up with him. But yeah, anyway. Anything that gets Angel Hernandez's ability to destroy people's enjoyment of the sport is something I'm in favor of. Baseball gets a lot wrong, like a lot wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a step in the right direction. It will eliminate one of the biggest concerns people have about the sport, which is like complete unfairness based off of potential. There's no greater opportunity for potential bias in sports than the home plate umpire on every pitch, other than maybe an NBA referee calling extra ticky-tack fouls. But even there's fewer
Johnny. Sorry.
There are fewer opportunities to do that than there are to mess with balls and strikes in a game. So I am very in favor of this move by baseball. We'll see how it goes to AAA. My guess is it went well in A-ball last year. My guess is it goes well in AAA this year.
So they did this in A. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, they did an A-ball last year in some of the leagues, not all of them. I think it was the Eastern League, and it wasn't our league here. I say our because I am a Schaumburg Boomers fan. Yeah. Shout out to Mike Larson, my buddy, the general manager there. But I think it was the Eastern League and the PCL, Pacific Coast League, maybe. There were a couple of leagues in A-ball. They did the robot umps and they worked pretty well.
Yeah, Evan, for someone who leans far left like you, you're trying to bust the umpires union pretty hard, huh? Oh, that was funny. Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to say my words carefully. unions are very important and a very big part of society, but when they protect people who suck at their jobs.
Okay, I've thrown you so many softballs. It was about time I thrown you a curveball. You went,
yeah,
goddamn.
Yeah, it's the cone of silence when a police officer does something wrong routinely, and the union stands up for them. When there is a umpire who is very, very bad at their job, and you can tell. So, but it's racism. He'll tell you it's racist.
Oh yeah, you know, I'm just happy, sort of like I had you like going, that's a meme.
Yeah. I'm very pro union. But whatever. Anyway, anything that makes Angel Hernandez trend in January is something I'm a fan of. I'm hoping that he's trending next February again as it goes in the major leagues. So that's all I'm gonna say. Good for baseball.
Well done.
Much better than the stupid starter runner on second base and extra innings rule. Just don't. So
all right. Shall we sort of like end with the plugs?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. We brought up the Los Panuso.
The Los Panuso.
All right. Well, Vinny Los Panuso is awesome, and he does a regular show with us called Vinny Makes the Hall of Fame Case 4. And we're recording tomorrow. You're gonna love this. I think you know this already. I don't know. Vinny's gonna make the Hall of Fame case for Kurt Flood.
Oh, good. Yeah, we talked about this. 100%. Kurt Flood is 100% a Hall of Famer if you like as a contributor, if nothing else.
Right, and I think that's where we're sort of like going to go with that. And there's been a lot of great YouTube comments on the work that Vinny has done. So can't say that there's been a lot of great comments on my stuff on this crap was on national television where people say like this guy doesn't know anything about Canada, especially when it was about beachcombers. The Canadian show that I do with Chris Bernay. So okay, so we just recorded that's now up, Learning the Ropes.
You told me about this. I didn't remember it.
Okay, yeah, it's a shit show. Yeah, I could swear again. With starring Lyle Alzado as teacher by day, pro wrestler by night.
As you do.
Yeah, exactly. So we were talking about syndication of the 80s. So we have decided that we're going to record the Small Wonder phenomenon.
Oh, that show was awful.
I actually never saw it.
Oh, it's so creepy.
That's kind of how Chris and I thought of it, like because we're all around the same age, all around like in the late 40s, early 50s. Why are we going to watch this? Well, this was a hit.
It was so creepy though.
So we're gonna record that next week. Also, too, Andrea Tessman is back from her worldwide tour.
Cool.
Yeah. So she's back on her worldwide tour, going from I don't know where the hell she went, but she was on a cruise for 3.5 weeks.
My brother's on a cruise for 111 days right now.
Damn.
111 days. Right now he's in Costa Rica. He'll end up in Pago Pago and India and all over the place. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, good for him. Not my idea of a good time, but good for him.
Well, Andrea wanted to be back in the Buchnerverse. So we are recording next week a wonderful, like our thing on like how the hell did this go #1? And it's going to be the Osmonds.
Oh yes, you've been threatening me with this one for a while here too.
It's been a month, yeah, because we haven't recorded anything for a while, so it's going to be like one bad apple. So we're looking at that, but really the thing that you're going to be a part of that is going to be recorded next week, possibly live, I'm not sure, which will be our Pro Football Hall of Fame, mock Pro Football Hall of Fame show, where we say like who we think is the class this year. And there's going to be some people doing some presentations. You're doing a presentation. I'm doing a presentation. Violet is going to be.
Can we say who we're doing?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I volunteered to do the one that apparently nobody wants to, even though I think he's in the Hall of Fame this year, Zach Thomas.
So, I'm not even sure who I'm doing. I'm just looking at who's left over. So, or it might just like be sort of like
someone's got to do Jared Allen, my friend. Someone's got to do Jared Allen.
But it's from our group. So, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and we love what we do. So if you're into to Halls of Fame, period,
Check it out.
yeah, it's going to be on the 17th. So with that, what have I not promoted?
The Halls of Fame.
Well, I did that at the opening, but yeah, do that.
Do it again. You got to bookend it, my friend.
No, you do that.
All right. So we have the fictitious athlete Hall of Fame, we have fictitious rock and roll Hall of Fame, and most importantly, coming June 1st, we are officially saying,
Yep.
The first class of the USA HOF, or the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. I have a whole bunch of content which I am writing the scripts for. When I say a whole bunch, I'm talking 380 scripts.
Whoa, 300? Really?
I'm gonna try and do all of them because.
Okay, yeah, Evan, when this comes up, I just did another meme face. I think I did this.
Yeah. There are a lot of them. I've written a whole bunch, but then I got to record them too. And I've realized that I don't, when I'm trying to record into my computer, I don't like where my eyes go. So you got to figure out how to put it so I can look into my phone and make it look whatever. I'm not good at this. One of my good friends is very good at it, so I'm gonna have her help me with it.
Or you could do what I do and like clearly not care how I look in camera.
Well, she will help me.
All right.
She is very good at this, and she's a photographer on the side, and also one of the most attractive people I know. So she can help me, make myself presentable for that. So that will all be coming.
She's attractive. Doesn't mean she knows how to make other people look attractive.
She does. I've seen her work. Believe me.
Okay.
And the last thing I just want to throw out there, I'm taking my son to his first professional NBA game tomorrow night.
Okay.
So
all right.
We're gonna go see.
Yeah.
We're gonna go see SGA in Oklahoma City take on the Chicago Bulls in Chicago tomorrow. We're in the third.
Nice.
We're in the balcony, way up in the third 300 levels, but we're in the front row.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
I figure if I could have gotten front row tickets in the 300s or something else where I wasn't sure he'd be able to see. You know what I mean? I'd rather have him see with not anything in front of him high up than try and see if he can see from like the lower seats.
No, that's awesome.
We'll see how that goes. He only cares about two things right now, which are the Bulls and international soccer. He's become he all he does is sit around and watch. He was watching this morning when I went to wake him up. He was in bed with his iPad watching training ground videos from preseason Barcelona earlier this year.
Wow.
He's like, we're looking at how Iniesta was. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? He's like, I'm watching how Iniesta moves with the ball. I'm like, okay. Is he what you want to do? I'm going to start coaching his indoor soccer team coming up. Our first practice is Sunday. So who knows? Maybe I have the fact he's like on his own looking up training ground stuff, how to figure out how to do things. Who knows? Maybe this is something he's a smart kid. Maybe get him both academic and a sports scholarship and make my life a whole lot easier. So
also too, like okay, finally we found an heir.
What?
An heir to all of this.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Because I mean, like you've got your heir who's all into this. My heir is this.
Winnie the pup. Winnie the pup. I can't say more of that or we'll get sued.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Winnie can't figure out a whole lot because anyway.
But neither can we. So it'll work out well. So anyway, let's close this. We've been on here long enough.
All right. Sounds good. Wherever you may be, stay safe, everyone.
Take care, guys.